the real one. Pay attention. Editor being me. I wasn't sure what I wanted to review next. I thought we were going to move on. I thought maybe we'd talk about like a paradox game. Something a little bit more grand strategy where we're watching like decimals move. We're not going to stick on Total War. I think this is probably the last one for just a hot minute. I'll probably move on to a paradox game after this. Something a little bit more like, what's the word? Knowledgeable. I'm not a Total War guy. Believe me, I think I said it in the last video. I only know how to make the game look stupid because I know how to play the game. I also know how to like make the game break. That only goes so far, and believe me, when they fix the AI, we're in trouble. I have a feeling that if somehow I get known as a Total War guy, I'm gonna collect some feelings from some people that really play these games that are not gonna match up with the stuff I'm putting out, because I am not a hardcore fan of these games. I just enjoy them a lot. In the near future, I'd like to do some videos that have nothing to do with video games, a bunch of stuff that I just want to talk about, and I think that's the purpose of this channel, is just for me to sort of maybe vent. If not vent, just generally complain. I'm not gonna get stuck on the Total War series. I liked my first video a lot, man. I loved that little Empire Total War video, and I felt like I had to make it because of, I don't know, feelings and emotions. I stand by what I said. I do mean it when I say the game is just bland and milquetoast. It's super boring. Everything about it just feels like it's floaty and weird, and it feels still super half-assed. And two, it feels like there was a game that I wanted to play there that just wasn't kind of up to snuff. And instead, it's funny how things work out.
Shit. Here we go again.
Well, anyway, that brings us to now. Another Total War game. We're doing a continuation of the last one about one of history's greatest generals, and we're going to try to do it without making one short joke or any kind of a surrender joke. Napoleon Total War is more or less a summary of history buffs' greatest love interest, short person and best winner in European warfare, Napoleon. Emperor. You might ask yourself, what would a game called Napoleon Total War be about, if not history's shortest man and campaigns and, you know, the Battle of Waterloo? I don't know. Don't ask that question. Spoil it for you. The world's shortest man, the world's tallest dwarf conquering the world. Cut that fucking shit out. I was almost sold on this game like years ago because of just the trailer alone, and there's not an edit I could come up with for this trailer to make it look more badass. Just the monologue from the guy talking about all the campaigns he's fought and how all these people just can't stop him. That's wonderful. It sets stakes. It sets the theme. I got goosebumps. I was straight up pumped like, woo!
The treacherous British.
Oh, hell yeah, man. When I booted this thing up, I wasn't sure what to expect in the main menu. I thought there was going to be a grand campaign option, and I could just boot right into the fun. I was wrong. Like, way wrong. Instead, I got to divide up Napoleon's conquests in any of these wonderful chapters. I think I like this idea that you can separate Napoleon's campaigns, like, because, I mean, they were massive campaigns. They were huge. And what the man accomplished is nothing to sneeze at. But I'm not going to do that. I think I booted into the first 3 or 4 chapters, had a couple of battles, you know, kind of got into it a little bit. But I'm not dedicating that much time to a storybook. What I was made to understand on the main menu is that there is no grand campaign, technically. Like, conquer the fucking world kind of situation. They're just settling it on Europe. Am I mad about this? No. They set their sights out on the Napoleonic Wars, which primarily were fought in Europe. All of that is fine, I guess. I mean, if you want to separate his campaigns into chapters as, like, missions, but missions don't work in a Total War game. I want to play a grand campaign in a Total War game. I don't want to play chapters. That would suck to set everything up just to move on to the next one. I'm not going to do that. What I want a grand campaign with Napoleon where I get to react to his moves as another nation, or everyone reacts to me as Napoleon. That's what makes a good Napoleon game. I'm not going to devote so much time to a campaign to go, oh, hey, look, you know, like, do you remember the Egypt campaign? Yeah, well, I did it this way. What matters most to me in a game about Napoleon Total War, not the summarization of the guy's campaign. I'm either playing as Napoleon or I'm playing against Napoleon. I, as the player, react as a nation to what Napoleon's doing. My story that I input in these games. It's all about me in a game, right? We're talking about a game. I don't want to be read history or just faintly alter history. I want to be the history that moves it. Well, anyway, I skipped the Napoleon parts of this game, but I'm not going to play Napoleon in Napoleon Total War. As much fun as I would think it would be to conquer the world as Napoleon, I'm not going to give the French any more credit than they deserve. I will not do that. I more or less found the real grand campaign. You just can't play as Napoleon when you're doing it. I'm only here so I can nail the little fucker with break shot. That's all I want to do. To sum up the period, we're playing a campaign where we're playing as everybody else who hates him. I wanted this all to weave in like the Medieval 2 DLCs, like Britannia or the Teutons campaign, where all of it's like a grand campaign that weaves in the narrative and kind of give some like historical backing to it. Have the campaign. Have a campaign that spans the world and have Napoleon be part of it. Have the United States, have everybody, but have the world react to the events of Napoleon. I think what I expected and what I got wasn't necessarily what I was looking for, but I was still pleasantly surprised. If you want a real extension of what Empire was going for, play the Grand Coalition campaign. Make your own story in the Napoleonic period as one of many nations. I take that back. I think it's 5. Because now you're standing against Napoleon. You have the whole world to try to either back you or fight against you. When I booted that one up, it felt like I stepped back into Empire, but it was brand new and a lot of a bit shiny. Also, excuse me, we're just moving down to like realistic portraits? That's the best we got? I mean, I guess it's better than nothing. I don't know. I don't know which one I would have preferred if I would have gone back to like the Empire look. The portraits don't look so goofy like the clayface motherfuckers I was dealing with in the last one. I don't think I enjoy it for world leaders, but I enjoy it for generals. That looks very stylistic and very cool. Also, look at the rake portraits. Those things are like devilish. I love it, or rather, rakish. Once again, I'm setting the campaign difficulty to very hard, and I'm setting the battles to normal, so that way everything's even. I want my AI to be aggressive and ruthless when it needs to be, and I will tell you, in this campaign, it is ruthless when it wants to be. Color me surprised that I think they fixed some values in the diplomacy settings. I don't know how many turns I had played in the game, probably like 20 or something had passed, and I wasn't at war with all of Europe. Yet. You might ask yourself, why did I pick Prussia of all the nations to play? Well, there's a couple of reasons. For one, the Jaegers, baby! Jokes aside, you're sandwiched between some German states and France on the other side, and Russia just frothing at the mouth to take East Prussia. So you're always in kind of like a tense situation that I love. I'm excited to say that the game starts with the Polish corridor shut. That's fucking awesome. Glad we got that squared away before Napoleon partitions that. I mean, it's Prussia. What more could you want? It's a great start. It's awesome. You know, you're just the central German state. The economy is same dish, except with no colonial holdings. I'm sure trade had to be really simplified down for that one. It is what it is. I mean, it's you shrunk it down and you got it focused. It's how it goes. I mean, at that point, you just kind of build buildings that make more money. Every building is an upgrade that makes more money. It's good. It's what I guess an economy is supposed to do. It's kind of the tech tree, just kind of everything's an immediate bonus again, but it serves the purpose. I mean, they also added a couple of buildings that help you kind of manage your army a little bit better, like the gunsmiths or the supply stations. Those are kind of, I like those additives that make it so like gun units are cheaper or that your units replenish faster. I don't think they handled it the best, but there was a good effort. However, why in 1800 are there no roads built in any of the Prussian states? You can check that. If you start on turn 1, you don't even get dirt roads. I mean, for Christ's sake, railroads are probably like 10 to 20 years away. What the fuck is that? I digress. I get it from a gameplay perspective, because it means in your short few turns before Napoleon invades, you have to decide if you're investing in infrastructure, defense, economy, or the military. And that's a wonderful addition. But you're telling me in 1800 they didn't even have fucking dirt roads? Get out of here, man. And speaking of the economy and defense, you really got to decide where you're going to put your starports this time. And I love that they finally made it expensive to build a fort in this game. Kind of like in history. Because starports were not cheap. It means you have to be super picky about what towns matter to you or where like your bastion is on what front you're going to fight. It's fantastic. I love that. It adds more to the decision making you have to do before you know you're fighting France. Because all of those decisions are made knowing that Napoleon will probably steamroll somebody you know and or love, and you're probably next on his list if you're not on the list already. It adds the stakes. It adds the stakes that I was talking about, because you have to start making decisions super quickly to try to figure out, how am I going to deal with the wave of France, you know? And I think that's fucking awesome, man. You added stakes and something that gets you moving, man. Napoleon's presence kind of adds this ticking timer that you have to figure out, what focus am I going to go with in this campaign, because I know he's going to show up with all the fusiliers and probably fucking wallop my ass. Well, the tech tree comes back a little bit more complex, I guess. It's a little bit slower this time around, probably because you're moving month to month. I actually had a lot of fun with this one so far. The AI is ruthless when it needs to be. The economy's a little bit harder to manage if you're desperately fighting wars on fronts. I don't know how they did it, but somehow the world feels a lot larger, even though it's just Europe. It gave me Total War, like actual Total War vibes immediately. And I want that. I want more of that in my Total War game. Surprise. I think they made the world feel a lot more lived in. There's attrition now to units, which I don't recall that was in any other Total War games before this one. Call it out if you know that that's not true. Because you actually, for a winter campaign, you have to think out where you're going to station yourself for the winter. It adds that sense of dread. Whatever. If you play as Russia, that's entirely missing. You can just steamroll everybody in the winter, which might be a little bit game breaking. Maybe give them like a little bit less of a penalty if they're in winter, but don't give them immunity. What the fuck is that? And I had a lot of fun with the campaign, and I still might finish the one that I'm on now that's taken me several too many hours that I care to count, if I can get Denmark and Russia sorted. But I'm probably shelving this one for a minute because I have other things that I want to work on, namely like getting this video out and working on the next one. But I had a lot of fun with the campaign. I think they actually got the campaign right for once. I think comparatively to Empire, they nailed the campaign this time around. So in this one, they hit you with the, it's a great step up, but it's a step up from way down low. Don't get me wrong, it's Empire's campaign, just with some immortal guys. It adds a hero system to it, which is, yeah, it's kind of fun. Like, Napoleon can't die as much as I hit him with a grape shot. The British get Beef Wellington, and the Germans get Von Blucher. Let me tell you, I got out of this 60-minute battle I had with Russia. Like, the full 60 minutes. There was no time skip or nothing. It was balls to the wall. And it was already 2 in the morning, so it was like 3 in the morning when I got done with the battle. I think I came out of that and realized, like, oh my God, man. I could have done something with my life. And I got a bit burned out because I got out of that battle and then I looked around and went, wait a minute. Did I just get duped into playing Empire again? And I did. I totally got duped into playing Empire again. Fuck. And how did that happen? Well, let me tell you. It's being able to fight the battles. Alright, enough of this nerd shit. Let's get down to what you guys came for. How do the battles feel? A game has to have something super unique to really want to draw you in. The grand campaign of Total War is not what draws you in. What draws you in are the battles. The battles are the key factor. Because unlike some Paradox games where you just want to fight the battles and go, why the hell did I lose that many units? In the Total War games, you get to do that. You get to sit there and fuck people up. That's the good part. It's being able to fight the battles as though you have an all-seeing eye as either the general or like the grand overseer. Empire's battles were just bland. I think I harped on that one enough in the last one. They're just boring, you know? My biggest complaint, I think in the last one, if I didn't nail that one in, were all of the lines. Just how many lines you gotta shape up and reshape them and all that shit. Does this one have lines? Yeah. But somebody was definitely smelling what I was cooking, or at least talking about, because they figured it out. They ratcheted this one up. This one is, they knew what they were doing. Are they cinematic and somewhat fantastical? I mean, I guess. I don't know. Cinematic for sure. I don't know about fantastical in this one. I think they stuck to it. They stuck to what they knew. Every unit that you're commanding in this one feels way more responsive and with a little bit more weight to the unit, which I think was sorely lacking in Empire. I mean, that's progress, you know? That's huge. I'm glad that we figured that out. The battles are tremendously more fun than they were in Empire. And I don't even know where to start with a description of, like, I wouldn't even know where to start with it. Regardless, did they just add some shaky cam and a couple more sound effects? You bet they're fucking sweet bippy they did. And it's awesome. Is it all I wanted? Yeah. I am super big on sound design. I think it can make or break a game just with little nick and knack sounds that you can hear while you're playing the game, because it adds a lot of flavor to what otherwise would be a bland experience. This one, they absolutely put in the right bit of sound design to make things work. Sort of like in the case of massive volleys. The sounds of the guns and artillery got such a massive upgrade. It just gets me raw. Muskets and artillery got the biggest sound upgrade, and it was sorely needed. They sound horrifying. This time around, cannons sound big, and they sound large. I don't know how I would say it, but grape shot got even cooler, man. I mean, it sounds badass when it goes off. The sound design draws you right back in. You have to know where that cannon fire is coming from, because now you have to focus in. Like when you hear artillery, that signifies their purpose as a dealer in thunder and death. Musket and rifle fire sounds a lot different this time around. What a fantastic improvement. Skirmisher shots ring out like sniper fire. So like if you're doing a defense and you stash them up somewhere, it's like it's like a wonderful thing to hear if you're in defense, because you know that means that your units are just like fucking hitting people. It just kind of adds in. Everything kind of combines. You have your fusiliers and
Fusiliers.
Just skip it. We're just not going to do that. Light infantry, the skirmishers, the line infantry, they're all shooting in different ways with the artillery, and it makes this combined sound thing that it draws you into the battle, and it just sounds so chaotic and wonderful mess of just portraying like what warfare would have been like right then. And why do I care about that? Because it puts you on the scene. It puts you there. I have heard it one too many fucking times about how in the hell could these guys line up and shoot at each other with cannons going off and blah, 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 blah. When if you've sort of understood how everything worked back then, everyone had to line up. You didn't have a choice. If you didn't line up, your muskets aren't going to shoot that accurately. You have to line up and stand next to your buddy, shoot your fucking volley, hope it hits something, because if you don't, the grape shot's coming. And if not the grape shot, it's the guy standing like 20 yards away from you that's going to try to nail you with his musket. That was a rant. Because why does the sound design matter to me? I can't imagine what that was like in real life, but I know in Napoleon, that sounds fucking great. I think it's because it adds that level of intensity. And also, the ground shakes. Oh my. Well, if you put the camera close enough, everything shakes. This kind of warfare buries itself in being loud and horrible and deadly. And the sound design knocks that shit out of the park. And having varied rifle fire just makes it feel like more is happening, and it's fantastic. Just look. Do you see the powder? How the whole battlefield kind of floods with it? It was something that was missing in Empire. It's like these aren't black powder rifles in Empire, but in Napoleon, they flood the battle. That's what those would have looked like. It would have probably looked like a dense fog. Not only that, if it rains, like, you might have misfires. I didn't think that was a real thing until I had to Google it. That's a real, like, you will have misfires. I mean, Christ, man. I don't think I've ever been so happy to be so wrong. Well, uninformed, maybe, is the right word. I booted this thing up, I bought it for $5, and by no surprise, I was pulled right in. Because I think it was the game that I thought Empire was going to be. Empire's HUD was a little bit cooler looking, but like, this one's just a little bit hard to look at. It's a little bit confusing until you kind of know what you're doing. Just having blue as the default's not so good. However, I appreciate that all my units are in one big fat fucking line, because when they were staggered like that in a giant cube, I can't tell you how many issues I had trying to put units together. It was just a bad time. And I don't know that it's changed since then. I think everything's just been like one singular. And not to mention, compared to Empire, I have a dude that kind of calls some stuff out. Granted, that guy's annoying as shit. I'll tell you though, as annoying as he is, somebody needs to be flogged for him saying, "A glorious victory, sir, is about to be yours." Who told that guy to pause there? Why is that something that somebody added? You know how many close calls I've had in battles, and I have to hear some guy kind of give me the like, "You're about to win." Maybe. You won. Soon. Gross, dude. I don't do that. I don't get my fucking hopes up. You guys want to talk about music again? Because I am. I'm going to talk about the music of this game. I adore the music of this game. I think they did a great job. Whoever the hell was in charge with this one, they figured some shit out. Because there are some great fucking pieces of music with this one. The battles sound way more desperate and way more triumphant when they need to be. For one, battles sound intense. They sound like militant. I don't know if it's because they added more instruments or what the hell happened, but somebody refocused the music and it doesn't sound so like bad. I've already listened to it a couple of times. I like it. I've listened to it on my way to work and gone like, hell yeah, man, hell yeah. They added a special combination of like military cadence and tension that just was not present in the last one. Some of the soundtracks make you feel like you're making the last stand against Napoleon, like you're the last thing slowing him down or the last thing in his way, or you're just desperately fighting for what you need, even if you're the one making the attack. To me, it seems like they didn't need to add much, and they nailed it. It's just some harsh strikes on the timpani, and the horns sort of just serenade that advance. It strikes a wonderful balance of adding something of a military cadence of tradition, cinematic feeling, and martial tradition that I think was so lacking in Empire. It just gives me the fucking heebie-jeebies when I'm going into battle. I mean, it's no Attila soundtrack or anything, but like, it gives me what I want. It gives me the feeling there's a man in Europe who will stop at nothing to conquer it, and I'm the one thing in his way, and I gotta stop it. Me, Prussia, I have to stop it. The overworld is beautiful too, but also I'm super biased for string quartets. I don't know, it's cool, man. It really kind of like slots you into that early 19th century where like Beethoven and Tchaikovsky were kind of like making their own music. Like, I think in between battles, I felt like I was always at like the middle point of the 1812 overture, you know, where it's like kind of relaxed. Anyway, in conclusion, here's my grand conclusion. Is there a good conclusion after this? No. Do I like Empire Total War? No. Do I like Napoleon Total War? Yes. I think it took me way too long to realize while playing this game that I had been duped. Not only duped, don't say duped. Surprise, I'm just playing Empire with better sound design and visual cues. Which, I mean, to be fair, I think that's exactly what I wanted. Because the battles were just, like, dumb. It evens out, I guess. It's probably why I'll continue my campaign when I can. Truthfully, I would recommend this one. I like it. I really, really, really like this one. This game is exactly what I was hoping for when Empire first released. If there was a version of this that included, like, the rest of the world, I would be so there in a heartbeat. Was it worth $5.74? You bet your ass it was. I don't know. Still. Ireland's not in this game. Why do I care?